Hey guys, today we're going to learn how to graph y equals mx plus b and learning how to solve f of x. Let's get started. So take a look at this problem. This problem is in y equals mx plus b form. M is the slope, it's the cost of 1, it's how steep your line is going to be. B is the starting point of your line. So if you have this, that's 2 over 3, and to find your slope, you do rise over run. Rise over run is taking the numerator, and however much the numerator is, that's how many you're going to go up. The denominator is how many you're going to go right or left. It's your run. So if you have 2 over 3, that's saying that you're going to go up 2 and over 3, and you put your dot for each dot, and you do that for every dot. For the plus 4, that's meaning that your line starts at the point 4 on the y-axis because that's where you're going to start your line. So now we're ready to graph. Using this plus 4, that's where we're going to start. So if you see here, you can see these numbers. You're going to go to 4 and put a dot. Now you need to rise 2, go over to the right 3 because if it's a positive. So you go up 2, so 1, 2, and over 3. 1, 2, 3, and you're going to put your dot right there. Again, you go up 2, over 3, and put your dot. To go down, you go down 2, and over 3, put your dot. So you can probably guess what we're doing, and so you can go ahead and finish your line and then come back to this video. So your finish line should look something like this. Now let's move on to the next problem. So now look at this problem. First off, you noticed that in the black, that was not in rise over run form, which I quickly just changed it to over 1, which would now mean that you're going to go up 3 and over 1 and put your dot. You also notice that now there's a subtraction sign or a negative, and there's two ways you can do this. You can either memorize that any sign in front of it is going to go with that number, or you can do a two-step and make it plus -3. When graphing, it's probably easiest if you do plus a -3 because it's easier to remember where to go. So now we have our graph and you can see the equation at the bottom. So to start off, it's -3. So again, looking at the y-axis, you go down to -3 and put your dot. And now you're just doing a simple slope. So you're going up 3 and over 1 and putting your dot, up 3, over 1 and putting your dot, and finish your line and then come back. So now the finished product should look a little like this.
So now we're going to learn how to change it into y equals mx plus b form. So here, you're just subtracting the 3 and moving it over here. The y will stay the same, so this now becomes 2y equals -3x plus 6. So now that you have that, you divide by 2, and your answer would be y equals -3 over 2x plus 3. So now that we're graphing a negative slope, you start at 3, put a dot there, and you'd go down 3 and right 2. And then you'd go here, up 3 and left 2. And then you can see that what our line should look like. So if it's a negative slope, your line should be going towards the left, and if it's a positive slope, it should be going towards the right. Here's our next problem. So here, since it's a -4x, you would add the 4 and put it over here, and your new equation is 2y equals 4x plus 8. Again, we have a 2y, so you divide by 2, and your answer would be y equals 2x plus 4. So where should our point start here? You're right, +4. And you see that your slope is 2, which you'd simply put that over 1, and it'd be up 2 to the right 1, and down 2 to the left 1. And now that our slope is positive, you can see that our line is going to the right. Now we're going to learn how to do f of x.
Okay, so now as you see here, f of x equals 4x plus 3. So basically, f of x is the same as y. So all I'm going to do is take the f of x and change it to y, as you see right here, and change it to y equals 4x plus 3. And as you see right here, f of x equals y again. All you're doing is f of x equals 2 over 3 x plus 7. So you're just changing the f of x to y, so y equals 2 over 3x plus 7. And right here, you see f of x equals 7x plus 3. All you're doing is changing f of x to y to where y equals 7x plus 3. So now, look at this equation. You have f of x equals 3x plus 7. And down here it says f negative 3 in parentheses. So basically, you're going to plug in the negative 3 for the x in this equation. So it'll be 3 parentheses negative 3 plus 7. So now you're going to do 3 times negative 3, and that equals negative 9, correct. Plus 7, what does that equal? That equals negative 2, correct. And that will be your answer for f of x. So now we have another equation. F of x equals 4x plus 11. As I said before, the x is 5 because the 5 is in the x's place. So now you're going to do 4 parentheses 5 plus 11. So now we need to figure out what's 4 times 5. It is 20 plus 11 equals, yes, 31. So that would be your answer for this equation.
So now we're going to solve the equation the same as before, just now we're using the equation for multiple problems. So now I plugged the negative 6 in for the x, so it was 7 times negative 6 minus 10. 7 times negative 6 is negative 42. So then you do negative 42 minus 10. So now the final answer would be negative 52. So now, as the last problem, you're going to plug in the 10 for the x. So it would be, plug in the 10 minus 10. Okay, so then you would do 7 times 10, which is 70, and then 70 minus 10, which would be correct, it's 60. Thank you for watching our video. Good night.